Okay, how about now? Should be good now, right? You spent me. I saw you said that, and I couldn't fix. Obviously I couldn't tell you. Hey, yeah. So yeah, I kind of decided that I'm trying to get away from using the NVIDIA broadcast. It probably doesn't sound terribly good right now because the NVIDIA broadcast I think actually made it cleaner. But the problem was it was really putting the load on my system. So I went back and I checked the OBS settings, and maybe I'll try the NVIDIA broadcast again at some point in the future. But right now, I'm currently just gonna go with using the direct connects again. So I apologize. Hopefully things won't sound too terrible. My mic is a decent mic. It just seems to have good days and bad days, where sometimes um, it's clean and running well, and other times not so much. So, one of the examples is the NVIDIA broadcast. If I tap on the mic, um, you can hear me tap on the mic, and you hear like pum pum. The NVIDIA broadcast will actually count that as background noise, and it'll block it. So you only hear me. So it's a lot cleaner. But I've been having some issues with it. So, and like the last time I opened it, it said I wasn't connected to the graphics card anymore. Like, what do you mean I'm not connected to the graphics card? Obviously, I'm connected to the graphics card, or my stuff wouldn't be showing up. I don't know what it's talking about. It's talking about some craziness. I think more than anything, my computer crashed today. Not completely, but every now and then, if I look at my cables wrong, the 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 GPU. Actually, I don't even think it's my GPU that's crashing. I think it's my USB-C ports. They overheat or something goes wonky with them, and then when you touch the cable just right, blows up everything, and I have to restart various devices and stuff to get it going again, and the NVIDIA broadcast kind of just falls on its face. It's like right now, I could show you this. This is the NVIDIA broadcast. See how the GPU utilization is nice and small? It's actually pretty good. So, Kurama, do me a favor. Listen to me at this moment. And now I'm going to swap over to the NVIDIA broadcast. And you tell me if I sound better or worse. Let's see. Just a minute. Let's swapping over. Assuming I can. I may not be able to do it live because sometimes it doesn't swap. It won't swap. See, like right now, I don't think it's going to... Oh, never mind. It might not let me swap while I'm live. I thought it could. I thought it was capable of such things, but I'm not seeing it even show up in my options here. Well, I guess we'll find out. Oh, there it is, NVIDIA broadcast. Okay, so this is me on NVIDIA broadcast. It's using the same mic, but it's doing some video card machinations to the mic, and it makes it seem a little bit clearer, I think. Takes out the background noise. I don't have a lot of background noise right now, but if I tap the mic right now, and I guess it is picking it up a little bit, but not as loud. Um, it's really, yeah. See, it doesn't pick it up easily unless I'm talking. So I don't know which way is better. You'll have to tell me what you think. If it's cleaner with the NVIDIA broadcast, or cleaner without. Let's see if my GPU usage went up. It does go up a little bit. It's really a problem when I'm using Unity. When I have Unity fully running, it becomes a major backlog problem. It's also part of the issue of if I start going into my video webcam here, and I want to use my backgrounds. You may have noticed I'm not using my backgrounds. Hey, I've seen some people have some pretty cool borders on their backgrounds. I'm gonna have to look into that. You know, they're rounded, they have little thin borders on them. They look really cool, and it just looks so much more almost professional than just a square. Now, some people do like this. You see me have background here, but if I go and dump, let's see if this will work. How's my? Oh yeah, it's just making sure that my. Okay, let's see here. Let's see if it works. Oh, look, it's gotten all big. Now this is NVIDIA broadcast image, which is obviously at a way bigger resolution. I think it's probably more resolution than I want. But we're going to see it. We're going to take off this virtual. We're going to dump this virtual background here. That's the blur. I'm going to remove it. Okay, so now it's just me on the screen. Hopefully that's you get to see more of. It's only 30 frames per second. We're going to have to see. You can see my GPU utilization has jumped up. It's like at 60, running about 60%. And when I have both of those things running using NVIDIA Broadcast and then throw Unity in there, this suddenly maxes out and I'll be sitting here at 98, 99%. And frequently my frames per second will drop to like nothing, 5, 10, 20, 30. It's really bad. Right now it's hovering, it's staying in the 50s though. I have it set to max 60, so we'll see. Okay, with that distraction in place, we'll leave this for a bit, and let's see if I can get some work done on my stream here. So, thanks for pointing that out here. I gotta step out just a minute. Okay, so let's get to it. Plans for right now, for the next session, for this session, what time is it? We're going to go, it's been 15 minutes of wasting time. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and start working here. So the goal here is to try to finish get tackle, run defense skill, and pass defense skill. Now you may have noticed that I was working on this in the past. Now here's something to be aware of. You may have noticed, Karama at least, that I am not on my AM Games Dev stream channel. I put a few streams of my development on this channel a week ago, 2 weeks ago, just a few, and they were by accident actually. I just didn't realize I hadn't changed my stream. I had way more views, way more views, way more people interested. I think I even garnered a couple more followers, and that faster than I ever get them on my other channel because I've only got 20. So what I'm thinking is at this point, I may go back and forth. Maybe on my focus days, I'll be on the other channel. But for now, I'm going to probably spend more time on this channel. So be aware, I may be doing some of my streaming here more often than I have been. just because it seems to be a better, the whole split in my channel bit. Maybe I just didn't have enough followers to justify splitting my channel just yet. Maybe if I ever get to some significant amount of people who want to see how this game is going in the thousands plus, then I will definitely look into splitting it out and focusing it more. But right now, I think I'm going to let the other channel, maybe I'll put some videos out on there. Maybe if I do some splits, I'll start adding some stuff over there to build up that channel's following. So, but this is going to become kind of my all-purpose channel. Maybe this is like my live stream channel. So, and then I'll start putting videos up on the other channel. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, I am trying to figure out. Let's see, what was I going to put on here? I came in here. Um, Going to do something there, but that's what I get for trying to multitask. Trying to do five things at once. Okay, so I was having some issues last time I did this because I couldn't get team stats. My set of data did not have team stats for defense. Specifically, I did not have the number of defensive plays against for both running and passing. And I was like, seems like an odd stat not to have. But my team stats only had, a number of interceptions, number of passes defense, number of blah, 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 tackles, and everything else. But what it really came down to was that I just didn't have that. I didn't have the bulk information. And what the reason is, I needed that information, and I found it online, and I was able to put it in. So now I'm able to finish these stats. I didn't even realize that the formulas I wrote that used those stats were attempting to merge data, and it was a miscalculation on my part, where I was adding together all of the plays, offense, what do you call it, running plays, passing plays, and calling that the total plays. But that's wrong, because on defense, it's not how many plays you ran, it's how many plays your opponents ran. And therefore, you need to have a separate, like, how many times did your defense actually have a pass against them or a run against them? And my data didn't have that. So I was pulling bad data points. They were the wrong data points. So I said, all right, well, my data's pretty old. Am I going to be able to find specifically the year I need? Because I don't want to go try to pull it all together again. It turns out they still had that data. I was able to find specifically what I was looking for. And that's what I did. I went to this profootballreference.com. They did have what I wanted. So you see here that this has like defensive fumbles and such, but there's these defensive stats. If I go to team defense, and you can see rushing attempts. This is rushing attempts, defensive stats. So this is how many times the opponent ran against the Jets, and the top one is the Jets. And same thing with passing. This is how many times the opponent attempted to pass against the Jets. How many TDs did they give up? Their interceptions. How many first downs did they get? This is net yards per attempt, so they got 4.6. But I pulled that into my spreadsheet, and now I got to do a re-import because I was missing some data and it wasn't calculating correctly. So I need to go in and put that in. I already put in the data as far as into my source, but I just got to reload the terminal. Yeah. Go open up a bash window. Some point. Hello. Go here. Get bash. And let's see. I always got to remember what my thing is. So we're gonna go cd. Oh, we do that. It's going to be system init Flutter 2009. I think that's what or is it? Import Oh, I did that wrong. Okay, let's do this. Oh, run. If it's wrong, it tells you the format. I think it's right, but it might be dash import space 2009. It's really slow to make the judgment on this. But if it works, it'll tell me how many players it attempted. Oh, shoot. Boo. It's not going to work because I need to fix I need to dump the data. You need to dump the old data before you can import the new data because I don't have it set up to delete or try to update data. It's too much work. It is over 1,500 pieces of data I'm trying to read from a spreadsheet, so it isn't meant to be fast. So what I need to do, I don't really need that one, but what I do need to do is look at the formula and then copy it because I kind of have the. Oh, dang it, am I keep opening the wrong ones? Oh, I don't have the other one open. That's why. There we go. All right, so this is my formulas, and I have a lot of mess of stuff. Once this gets going here, go to my formulas, calculate sheet now. So this is going to read. This should read all the data off of my stats data, which is this guy. Why some things are small pop up. There it goes. Okay, so it's supposed to be pulling all the data off of these, and it kind of was. There we go. See how it refreshed and got them all updated. So now I have speed, punt return, kick return, all that stuff is all here. All the data is being calculated now. And so all of these have formulas built into them, and these are like subset data. And this round here is just me trying to push everything into a 1. But ultimately, I'll use a scale to value function that I have that allows me to force players into a certain area. So the logic on these particular players, this game was designed around a D20. In general, most actions were designed around a D20, although a fair number of them could have been as much as a D8, D6, D10, just depended on what they were. So these would be comparatives. One player has to roll against another player, and then it was just a matter. They really was one player rolling against another player's ability. So let's say another player's tackle skill is a 13. You just had to beat a 13 with your skill. So you would roll a d20, and your skill would be pretty easy to beat the 13, right? Because you're going to have whatever your stats were. Really, what it was the tackle skill. Now that I think about it, yeah, the tackle there is 3, 8, 3, 4, 4. That would actually subtract from another person's break tackle skill, and then you had add to another person's break tackle skill, in which case they would have to beat it. So if I remember how I did this correctly. So this is break tackle. So you got 13, 11, 12. So all these guys had numbers that were in this range. I'm probably not going to make it that complicated. So I'll use different scale values in my app. Really what I want is everybody to have kind of similar everything. So when you're looking at a player, I want it to be apples to apples in comparison. So if a person's, let's say, tackle skill is a 97, 98, which is too high. I'm not going to do Madden where everybody's in the 90s or upper 80s. The best players always get to be 99, which is stupid because 99 implies they're perfect, which means year to year that wouldn't make any sense, right? Because there's nobody playing at that level all the time. So there shouldn't be that many 99s. In fact, a lot of seasons theoretically should never be any 99s. a lot of seasons. Or maybe you have one guy that had one skill, one thing where he was a 99, but he should never be an overall. There's very few players, I think, in the history of the NFL should ever qualify for being a 99 overall. That's like if Superman decided to play football, he'd be a 99 across the board because he'd be the best at every possible position and whatever. Not going to happen. So, yeah, it's a dream. What does qualify a player to be a 99? And what makes a player a 99 in defense versus offense? He'd have to have like top level skills across the board. I don't know. I would love to have guys be able to reach into those higher numbers, into those higher areas. I just haven't figured out how to balance out players that way yet. But having guys get into the 90s would be pretty impressive, right? The idea being, though, if you've got guys that are reaching up into those mid to upper 90s, these guys are like the greatest ever players at that position. There shouldn't be anybody who's better than them at that position. Does that make them perfect? No. I mean, in theory, if you're a 99 pass defender, you're going to wreak havoc on a lot of teams, right? They're going to want to avoid you. And maybe I would love to start building in a lot of logic eventually. Some logic right now won't be able to be in there, but I'm going to keep building this up. If it's popular enough, I'm going to start adding more and more things that make it like the logic of a team can be set up to maybe avoid certain guys because he's too hard. He's a kind of defender that has really high pass defense rates, and do you really want to be throwing against him? Sounds like a bad plan, right? Sorry if you see me itching my arms a lot. It's partly because I got bit a bunch this weekend, so I've got mosquito bites everywhere. And it's mostly on my arms. I have one up here and down here and over here. I don't know why they bit me on the inside of my arms more than anything. I don't know. Maybe they were scared off by the tan I got, so they went for the light color as part of my arms. All right. Let's go back to it. Anyway, so that's it. I'm going to be comparing players based. What I'll probably end up doing is under the covers, I'll make adjustments to the players and how they compare to each other. Still using, yes, they are at their best, but I probably won't be saying, well, 99 and 98 go against each other. This is what we got. No, it's probably more like there will be numbers that actually have to be used in the calculation of success and failure, dependent highly on what a 99 means to a particular skill, or 98 or 89 or whatever it is. Okay, so this is my past where'd it go? Past defense skills right here, PD. So he's got a PD of 15, which is what I'm working on, and I also am working on rush defense. I'm doing both, and then there's also the tackle skill, but I will get all those knocked out now that I've got all my stats in place. And it's going to be the same for every player. Every player will eventually have default stats. So you could throw in a, I don't know, wide receiver at linebacker if you wanted to. But it may not be the greatest because his tackle skill is going to be at a baseline. There's a lot of players who would end up being at a baseline. There are players that might be known for having some kind of two-way skills. And then we'll tweak and edit and add some potential to players because unless they actually have stats, oh, that's where that bite is. Dang, it's right on my bicep. I thought it was down here, but it's actually up here. Sometimes you can't tell where the itch of a mosquito bite radiates out, so you can't tell where the source is. Okay, so let's get this going. So this is the pass plays against. And my logic for pass defense is going to be something along the lines of, how many times did they, how many defenses of the ball did they have, which is actually calculated off of, we have team tackles, passes defense. So this guy's had a number of passes defensed, which is this, but they also do other things. There's other pass defense skills that can be involved. Like a lineman may not have as many passes defense because they don't go out very often. But at the line where they are, pretty good at jumping up, they're big, they know how to get in front of balls, they're going to have a pass defense skill as well. Now, it won't be as high as the CBs because that's their job, but they may have a pass defense skill that's higher than baseline, which means if you've got a lineman who's pretty good at getting his hands up, he's going to have more pass defense skill than, say, another lineman who never gets his hands up and never blocked a ball in his life. So we'll give some kind of pass defense skill to all the players that can have them. Now, if a player never played on defense, but maybe in college, he's known for playing on defense, maybe he was a great DB, but they've turned him into a wide receiver, he's going to have potential that says he could be he could be good, he could have some skills, and maybe he'll do all right if you throw him in a defender. Maybe you want him to play two-way and see how it goes. But remember, every play a guy's in is a chance to be injured. This is just like the NFL, right? The more you play, the more chances of being injured. So you got to consider that. But so I'm throwing things in. I don't know why I'm considering poor throws. Poor throws. Does that even make sense? I think I was trying to calculate how many times a player. I was trying to calculate the number of plays, I think, and that doesn't make sense. So we're getting rid of that. That was me trying to calculate the plays by adding up all the plays that were thrown by that team, but that didn't make sense because they don't you don't count the plays against or for. So I need to pull. I got offense. Don't want that. All right, so we got the passes. See, there's not a lot of information here. All we got are passes defensed. So hit at line doesn't even exist for this, but I still think a hit at line is considered a pass defense. But so we'll have to see how many plays I can get from the defenders. But they should all have something. So it's really just passes defense. And then I'm going to calculate it into the opportunities, which is to say games played. And then I got to weight it against the number of games they actually played, because that's part of it. So we're going to say passes defensed divided by then I got to weight it against their games played. What is my weight logic? I have a games. I think I need to come up with a standard function for the games played weighting. You know what? I'm going to do this on a per game value. So we're going to go games played. Passes defensed. We're going to go this way. Passes defensed per game. And then this is going to be divided by control modifiers change in season. Check that out. There we go. Thank you, AI, for helping me get that one down. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I guess we have to do that. Okay. We've got passes defense per game. And then we got to also, let's actually do this. I gotta wait. I gotta come up with a way to do this weighting. See, there's a little bit of a trick on doing this, right? If a player only plays one game and has a spectacular game, we can't say that they're like as good as all the other players on the team. They could have a spectacular game, but it's a misnomer. You don't know for sure if that's standard. Like what if they come in, they get hurt. They have one really good game. Like maybe they had 10 passes thrown their way and they blocked them all. I mean, I would think after a couple, the other team would kind of go, I don't want to throw to them anymore. But whatever. So say they blocked them all or intercepted three of them and they just had a great game, but then they got hurt. Is it safe to assume they're going to have those same spectacular stats for the next 16 games or 15 games? 16 now. No, it's not. It's not a safe assumption at all. In fact, it's a pretty good chance he won't be able to repeat that. But you can't give him the credit of having a spectacular single game. So you got to spread that out. You got to presume that because of the fact that he didn't play as many games and we don't have as much to go on with his skills, that there's a weight state. What I generally do was I give full credit to a player who played at least half the games in the season. So they had at least 8 games and whatever their stats were off of that, I'll give them pretty close to full credit. Under that, I start giving them fractionals. So the logic I have is actually designed out of this, and I think I'm gonna have to create a games played modifier or control or whatever. And that's kind of what this is. So you see I have this games in season and games missed, and you see I have DB games, how much they played, how many times they started, and then there's some random dividers. I just kind of divided things by 2 and gave them ratios. So this guy had, credit for 7.25 games, even though so I basically weighted out everything. What I'm probably going to do is come up with a formula that's a little less harsh. That one weighted it completely. Like if you only played 15 games out of 16 games, you got a penalty. If you only play as many games as everybody else. But that's not really fair. It doesn't, I mean, missing a game doesn't change. It will change things like your injury proneness. That'll have an effect. But how, your injury fatigue, because that's how I weight guys a lot of times is based on how much they actually played in the season. And that's kind of how it affects their stats and skills for a particular season. So that makes sense. But ultimately, what I need to do is come up with a logic that says, okay, well, they're only going to get this decimal point, this fraction. And I need to write a function, which I will do. I think I have the team stats, types, utility. I think I have a function, an area just for these kinds of things. Data quality, GPR, main, stats, schedule tests, service, general skills, players, skill modifiers. Go. Skill modifier. Add a new skill modifier to a player. Remove skill modifier. Skill value returned. Skill. Okay. And remember, when you write a ton of code, it's really easy to start losing track of what you did when you did this. Because if you wrote it 3 months ago, it's like, okay, what was I thinking at this point in time? Oh, that's for like in-game live stuff, store skills. Things that are happening during the actual games. I've been creating formulas and functions for things that happen in game. It's not like I'm just staying on. Oh, here we go. Utility. There we go. That's what I want. We're gonna have this one. Okay, so we're gonna have a function called get games played skill. All right, let's Games played. We're just gonna do something like we're gonna say games played int and year. No, yeah. Oh, games in season. Games in season. And this one's going to return it. Oh, okay. Float. Yeah, I want to float. That works. And then this one is going to be. So we have a game. So I have a logic is going to be. Game started. Game started is part of that too, because they don't play as much, which to me also weights them down. If they're not a starter, there's a reason they're not a starter. That's part of my logic. So we're gonna go me games played sent equals okay. Nope, not quite there yet. I'm gonna have to say games started percent equals, and then I think I need to pass in that information too, because I need to know. I decide this game started. Well, game started. Game started. Game started. I'm trying to decide if I want game started to weight it or not. Honestly, it almost would weight it more, huh? You actually get stronger from your not playing as much. Because it's like if you had a really good set of stats off of not starting, then maybe you should get a little bit more credit, right? Like if you're a designated third down specialist, you don't play as much, right? Maybe you got injury prone or you're more fatigable or whatever the problem is, but they want you in there on third down and you're a beast and you just run in and you just pummel people for sacks and you're just a third down specialist for whatever it is that they have you coming in for, and you're actually pretty dang good. You're just not typically considered a starter. Like maybe they don't want you in on most of the other plays. Like maybe if you're not running, they don't bring in their bruiser fullback, but he's a brute when he's actually used as a fullback. You know, they have him, pummel those short line distances, makes them pretty good, but they don't start all the time. So sometimes by not being a starter, that implies you play less, but maybe you actually do more. You get a little bit more credit. Now, what's a valid amount of credit to give to a third down specialist? Well, that's another question. Maybe you get promoted. Maybe you start off not being that good, but you get promoted. So that's a lot of things to consider for whether how not starting or how starting and not starting has an effect. I'm trying to decide if I want your starts to matter. And unless I can give an actual valid, I wish I could track something like the number of plays individuals had. Like how many pass plays was Joe in on? Like pass attempts. Like I'm keeping track of, like I have this information here. I have pass attempts and run attempts, right? But this is against the Arizona Cardinals. But there isn't a stat for individuals that says I got player stats, rushing, receiving, defense. So it's only one set of defensive stats. And you got tackles, but it doesn't say what. It doesn't say intercept how many plays were run against you. It just says how old are you? How old these players are. Toggle per game. Is there a per game stats? I mean, there is, but that's going to suck trying to total that if there is plays. Yeah, see, you don't even have that. What is this? Doesn't have a lot of stats for these players. Let's see. Let's see if there's an NFL 2009 player. That's what I would like to do, but I don't think plays played. This is the same one, so it's probably not going to help me any. NFL defense. Yeah, this is not going to help me anything. I feel like it should exist. But it doesn't show how many plays they played. Defensive plays played. Plays against. Defensive player plays. Yeah. Pro Football Reference has stats, but it doesn't. I would think you could get it from a more general state. I always feel like it's good to rate them against what they actually did. So if they were in on 50 plays and they had 5, it's better than a person. 5 passes defense is better than a person who's in on 100 plays, pass plays, and had 5, right? Because that person only had 5%. The other person had 20% or 25%. So it's more impressive, but it's hard to measure against that. So all I can do is measure against the plays that their team did, and that's kind of what I have to do. And it's only against, so opportunity would be that. And I feel like weighting how much they played matters, because if they weren't in on 3 of those games, then we're going to take them out. But what if they were a non-starter? They only came in. Maybe they're really fast defenders, and their job is to come in and cover the deep ball. But you're not worried about the deep ball on a lot of plays, so you don't bring him in. He's not a starter. So he's not in as many plays. I'm thinking I want to give guys, non-starters, a little bit more credit. I guess I could just give them credit. No, because you give them credit for games played. That's not. What I might do is maybe give them a 10th more credit. Is that fair? A tenth more for every game they didn't start of the games they played. A little bit of a boost to say, okay, well, this guy didn't start, and I don't know how much of an effect it'll have. I guess I'll have to see. Maybe I'll do some. I'll get some numbers back during my testing. Okay, so let's do this. We're gonna go games started, which is games played percent. Then this is going to be I'm not going to have this read anything because I don't want to. I'm just going to pass it in names. Say how do I want to do this? You know what? I might do something more basic. Let's just go um, names not ordered. That's the up here. Oh, what was that? I get for trying to do things without looking. All right. I'm gonna say there's not in something. Not that piece. Um, it recognizes declares distribution even in relation to their not in order. We'll just do that. Okay. Um, so adjusted game started is going to be games. No, we're going to go games played. And then we'll games played minus games started, which will leave a gap. And we'll just say times I don't think I'm going to use the game started percent. I don't know what I'm a game started percent. No. Adjusted games. I don't know how to spell. Adjusted games. Oh, not adjusted games. Play. Times. We're gonna go get a modifier here. We need to make a modifier for this, which we will pass in. We will call this this is this, like I said, I don't want this to be fetching anything. We're gonna call this the take this. In theory, I could get it. Probably should. because making my functions want to call stuff. It's one thing to provide the information for the player, but then making my functions all have to go get this modifier just to provide it when in fact it's just a generic value that I probably shouldn't adjust this way. I'm being lazy. I don't want to identify it. Oh, stop being lazy, kid. Just go get it. I don't want it. It takes work. It's like I'm passing it in anyway. Control modifiers. They're just coming in. Where am I passing this in? Set defensive skills. Set general skills. Set defensive skills. So one ever calls this. Where is this being called from? Control modifiers. Must be getting defined somewhere. Get all modifier types and combine them into a single object. Okay, so I gotta tell what modifier I need. What is this function? Figure imported players. I think I want to pull this out into a separate function. I'm gonna have AI help me with this just because I don't want to type it out. I want this to be its own thing that I can call, and it's just standard. So if I use it in multiple places, I don't have to go configure imported players to do it. Because that means I'd have to pass things all the way through, and I don't want to do that. We'll use agent. Can you 54 through into a function that returns the control modifiers, placing the new function into ability.go. Function modifiers. Oh, second. Wait. I don't think I need to do that. I think everybody that imported players.go, which is going to call. Okay, I don't think we're going to have that problem anywhere else. I don't think that does anywhere else, but I'm going to go look. I think these are all just calling that function already. Get players from source. And these guys are getting control modifiers called. That are being passed in. Get availability rate. Okay. All right, so let's do that. Let's make sure I'm on the one that's going to matter though. Just to simplify the code, I don't like to have, if I'm doing the same thing in like 2 or 3 or 4 places, I like to break it down into a single function. So they all call it the same. And if I ever need to edit / change, do anything to that, it's just cleaner. So well, it didn't do what I asked. Just, I mean, it kind of did. I mean, it created the function, but it didn't put it in the utility.go. I don't know why. Am I using? No, it's Claude. Claude's usually pretty good at doing what I ask, but I guess not today. I don't know. Now let me set up imported players. It's kind of weird. What is this complaining about? Get controllers redeclared. Oh, wait, what? Oh, because I have to wait. Where did it put it? Says it's already in this block. Utils don't count. Oh, test util? Huh. Oh, it's set up as a test utility, but I don't need. Use control for MongoDB. Oh. It's only separate. It's only considered not in the same block if. Huh. Is that the same? No, it's not the same. Hmm. Okay. Test control modifiers. I should probably change this to get test then because it's different. And I don't want, I think get control modifiers should be, I mean, instance for assertions, returns map control modifiers by type. Actually, this one might be better because that one identifies it. This just maps them out by type, which is way better. Get test data from Mongo, control modifiers. Get skill control modifiers by type. Huh. This is why I don't like, this is why I needed to do this because it seems like we're using it twice and I got to see if there's a way to use one over the other. But let's go back to the setup imported players. We're going to make this call fix so we don't have that problem. We have this. Initialize the store, preload the skill modifiers, store initialize. And then we're going to get control modifiers. What we do is basically dump all of this. Back on task with this one. Yep. We're getting a problem. All right, so we got to fix this. Um, Let me go here. I'll do another one here. Another version of get control modifiers and one in testdetail.go are conflicting. Possible. Let's take the best, most efficient and least and one with least hard-coded functions values and all it. So have you ever known that trick where you ever see these somebody will give you a like a poem or some kind of a text to read that's got all the words scrambled up. It's like the only letters that are correct are the first and the last letter. And as you're reading it, you can read it. You just don't realize, I mean, you do realize you can see the words are all messed up, but yet you can make perfect sense of every word. That's what I'm hoping that AI is pretty good at. And it does seem to be pretty good at it. Because I type words like leats, Leats, which is supposed to be least, Least. But I do that, and then I see it, but I don't fix it. I just hit enter and let AI go, go for it, AI. Let me know what you can do. And it generally seems to be pretty good at figuring it out, which is good because I hate having the idea of having to fix all my typos. But it does imply I don't know how to spell. I do know how to spell pretty good. So just letting you know. Uh, oh no, that's right, because I have to use the store.go, which allows me to avoid. All right, looking at the versions, I can see the one on utility is more efficient, flexible, while the one on test.go is test specific and directly queries MongoDB, which it should not. Let's consolidate by keeping the production version in utility.go and updating the test version to use it. All right, get control monitor retrieve control. Okay. Um, the test version is using name and this like the 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 main function declared as you know what? That's fine. I'm going to update this to use it. Let's see. Returns map control modifiers only run in dev test environment. Get or create store with connection pooling. That's fine. Use the production get control modifier controls. Warning, no control modifiers found. I'm not gonna do that. The feature control modifier types. I don't like this unnecessary garbage. I'm taking this. That's all I need. The only piece I need. And I'm gonna change the function name, which is probably gonna break stuff, but we'll fix it. I'm gonna call this get best control, which means I can dump this. Should have other options for this. I don't even know if anybody's calling this function. Nobody actually calling this function anymore. I don't know where this is, where this one is being used, but it doesn't appear to be used anywhere. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so we'll go back here. I may not even need that. This might be just garbage. I thought it was being used by something. That'll teach me to assume. All right. That means I don't have to pass the control modifiers in, which is nice. That means I can go into my utility function and not make anything. I don't like having common values have to be passed through the specific functions because they're common values. Just let it get its own common value. That's the whole point of what I'm trying to do here. So that means I don't need to do this. Yeah. Oh, nope. Nomenclature, you know. Yeah. Full modifier. What am I doing wrong? I don't want to have to call that. Do I have to call this with the same logic? I probably do. I probably have to call it the same logic because that's the way they work. So we'll go here. And I have to take this. I have to initialize the store. Lame. Context. Hmm. If this works. We'll let AI tell me what I'm doing wrong in a minute. I don't want all of these. Is there no way I can do this so I don't have to? Still trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Hold on. I'm trying to do this without using AI too much, but this is all kind of new to me here, so bear with me. It's get control modifier, which comes in off of this thing. Isn't right because that one doesn't work. Okay, now it doesn't work because it's got a line under it. Let's go look at, I know I'm using, go look at the offensive skills. I think I have some of those that are using control. This is the one I want. Get control modifier individual. Oh, okay. I'm definitely calling that one wrong. So it is get control modifier. Let's try that. Get control modifiers and we will, I don't know. I don't know how to do this here. Store. Did I create a store? Yeesh. Oh, I'm so confused. Control modifiers? No, we're gonna go at team, individual, general team. We want to go team. We are looking. What are we looking for? The game started control modifier. Okay. Actually, it is a player thing. Or individual. Individual. Rama. Dude, you speak in letters. I don't you speak in weird, I have no idea what you're doing. A.A, T.T, N-N. I do not have any idea what you're saying to me. You might as well be typing in Japanese or some other language. I don't have any idea what any of that means. So if you're is that ta ta for now? See you later. You taking off? Have a good one, man. I don't know I don't know what any of that means, but I'll just go with all right. You have a good one, man. Sleep tight. Have a good I don't know. I don't know what TT stands for. Bye. Okay, I was right. TT means ta ta. You have a good one, man. I gotta sign off myself. It's time for me to go eat dinner. I gotta take another break here. Till next time. God bless. Let's see. Let's see if I can get this at least figured out here. Yeah, I'm totally not sure how I want to do this. The value is going to be, we're gonna go game started. Games played, started. I would love to put comments in on these things, but we got to go up to my system init here. Oh, did that ever finish running? I did run that earlier. Let's go see if that ran. I thought it did. Is it here? Nope. Where did I do that at? Oh, it ain't that one. It ain't that one. And if I did do that, I don't know where it is. I may have to do a new one. Oh, here it is. We did. Oh, it did blow up. Flag, but not defined. Import int. Okay. So I got to do this. And this is supposed to be space. All right. Then I need to go to my system init. We're going to go to my skill control modifiers. We're going to go to team, general, individual. We're going to go that, it's a quote, quote, and colon 0. I don't know if that's good. It might not be. It may not be enough. Because I'm only giving them a 10th more credit, but it is a 10th more credit. So instead of getting nothing for starting those games, or instead of getting a negative, I'm giving them a little bit more of a boost because it's going to affect their season, right? So if I only give them a 10th, instead of giving them a full one, if they have 10 games where they didn't start, giving them a full one extra game, I'm giving them a 10th of a game. So they could have, if they were like designated, let's say they played in 15 games, but they didn't start in any of them. Well, they're going to get the credit for an extra 1.5 games. So like an extra 1.5 played games versus their normal, like they would get credit for 16 and a half games. But the thing is, they didn't get the number of plays. So their percentage is going to be down simply on the fact that they didn't get to play all those plays like everyone else. And everybody's getting weighted against all the plays. So if somebody plays every down of every defensive pass play, then they're going to get full credit. But if somebody only plays on third down and they're highly successful, I want them to get a little bit more credit. So they're going to get as though they got a better percentage out of it. That's my goal. It's just to kind of up their percentage of credit so they can maybe have a little bit more success. And if I don't like it, we'll see. But this gives me a way to adjust it. I gotta go help my daughter out with something. So I'm gonna call it for now. Until next time.